What's going on, everybody? It's Wade with Swamp Donkey Archery. So with hunting season right around the corner, I've had a few guys coming in the shop and a few of my friends actually asking me this question, and I figure being there's been more than 4 or 5 people in the past 2 weeks asking me this, it may be a pretty good subject to touch on. So I've had a few guys that's been like, hey man, you check my form out, see if you see me doing anything wrong, or I'm getting inconsistencies in my shot. Can you kind of you check and see what's going on? So this isn't going to be a full all-out, here's everything you need to do in your form. I'm going to put together 3 of my top things that I don't like saying you're doing it wrong, but 3 of my things that I see most that cause inconsistencies in shots. So that sounds like something you're interested in? Stick around, we're going to get into it. Okay, so like I said, I've had several people over the past couple of weeks asking me questions about, can you watch me shoot? Do you see me doing something wrong? Or, they call me and be like, man, I shoot great one day, and the next day, I shoot good 10 shots, and then I have everything start going to the left, whatnot. Can you give me some tips and pointers? So before we get too deep in the video, if you don't mind, go ahead and look down there and hit that thumbs up, give me a sub. You hadn't already done it, help me get this sub count up. We getting close to my 1,000 subscribers. Come on, I just need a little bit more. Y'all help a brother out. So here we go, let's get into it. So there are so many things that we could get into on proper form and stuff like that, but I'm not going to get into all that. What I do want to do is do like a top 3 things that I see that if you're doing these, it could impact your shooting the most, if that makes sense. But before I get into this, I want to say, hey, if you're watching this and you're shooting and you're 100% satisfied with what you're doing, your shots feel good, you're satisfied with what you got going on, how you're shooting, hey, do you, boo. You keep doing that, because if you feel good, if you feel confident, that's what it's all about. Keep on doing it. Just, but if you're the guy that, man, I know I can shoot a little better, or some days I'm on, some days I'm off, here's a couple of tips I want to throw at you that may help you out. These are the top, like I said, 3 or 4 things that I see more than anything. This is from grown-ups, youth, kids, everything. This is kind of across the board what I see. So I'm going to break it down into 3 things. The first one is actually going to be kind of 2 together because they kind of coincide with each other. First, I'm going to go over make sure you got your proper draw length and anchor point, okay? Draw length, I see a lot of people coming here, and I understand you got a bow that you've had for a long time, or you got a buddy of yours, hey man, you want this bow, send it to you for $100, whatever, and you get it, and your draw length's way too long, it's way too short, whatever. And we'll say you can shoot one that's too short way better than you can one that's too long, because you start shooting one that's too long, you start creating all kind of problems. But so first I want to go over the best way to tell what your proper draw length is. This is the way I measure for myself and all my customers. Comes out really, really close. I mean, if you want to get down to the nitty-gritty target shooting and stuff like that, you're going to have to tweak it, 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch or something like that. But just getting it as close as you can get it to start shooting and be as close as what you need to be. This is the best way I found. So I'm going to step back a little bit so I can fit all this in. So we do fingertip to fingertip. I'm not talking about doing wingspan stretched out as far as you can reach. I'm talking about just arms down, nice and relaxed at your side, and then you stick them out like this. And you measure from your longest fingertip to your longest fingertip. And you take that measurement and divide it by 2.5. And that's going to give you your draw length, okay? I would say guesstimate it to the nearest 1/2 inch, because most bows are adjustable to 1/2 inch. If you're, say, 28 1/4, go to 28. Don't go to 28 1/2, because you're going to start getting kind of long right there. So start out on the shorter side. If you feel kind of scrunched up, then work up. So That's how you check what your proper draw length is. Let me get my stuff, and I'm going to show you kind of what too short, too long looks like, and what it should, theoretically, what I would say is a proper draw length look like. Okay, being most people, most hunters are going to be hunting or using a index style release. That's what we're going to do. Before I finish it, I will show you how I anchor with a thumb. Now, what I'm saying is just kind of a little bit more in the gray area. Okay, when I say this is how you should anchor, that's not a definite. I want you to anchor and find what feels good for you, because what I say feels good on me may not necessarily feel good on you. If you can make it, if it feels good, you can make it repeatable. If you can make it repeatable, you can make it consistent. You make consistency, you make accuracy. Okay, that's how that works. So before we get in a little more, let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you, I'm going to draw back and just kind of anchor in. Now, of course, different length bows, axle to axle, string angles, stuff like that. I mean, we could get super deep into this, but just for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to show you about what proper draw length should look like, okay? So, if you are super short, you're going to be like out here like this. You know, you're going to be strings out in front of your face like this. You couldn't touch your string with your nose or anything. Okay, that's like super short. Now say I got my arm stretched way out and stuff like that. Okay, that's really short. Now, let this down, regroup. We're going to start over. I'm going to show you what too long is going to look like this. So, too long of a draw length, that's when you like back here. You see what I'm talking about? Way back, you past the crease of your mouth, you past your nose, peep sight's almost into your eyeball. That's way too long of a draw length right there. I don't want to see that. I deal with a little shorter than I could a little long, okay? That will cause you all kind of issues. You're going to scratch the side of your face, you're going to pop your arm, you're going to do all kind of stuff. So, a proper draw length should, when you draw back, it should come, string should come to, now I know my nose is pretty big, so it sticks way on out there, but it should, your string angle should come in, touch your nose, the string should peak, like right here about the corner of your mouth and go back. And like I said, depending on axle to axle length, stuff like that, string angles, looking at string angle like this versus a string angle like this on a longer bow, it's going to sit a little bit different, but just like I say, simplicity's sake, should be your nose, corner of your mouth, and then down, okay? I'm going to show you what that looks like. Now, proper should be like this, okay? Corner of the mouth, I got my nose touching my little nose button, peep sights right up in front of my eye. Just like that, okay? That's where your proper draw length should come. Now, being that draw length, now I'm going to get into anchor point, okay? Anchor point, you have to hit the same point of anchor every single time, or it's going to be really bad off way down range, okay? So you need to find a point that you can anchor and be comfortable and be consistent, all right? So I'll show you what I usually tell most of my people. I get them to get relaxed. We're going to draw back and we're going to close our eyes, and then we're going to bring our hands in just wherever you feel comfortable. I don't care if you want to anchor up here on your ear. That's fine. I usually bring my hand in here under my ear, okay? That's about where my comfort spot is, okay? Right there under the ear. Some people may be here, but like I say, you do this, you know, now look, my nose ain't even touching the string anymore, okay? That's too short. So we should be, boom, just like this. All right, that's where your proper anchor should be. Like I said, I'm setting a baseline for you. This ain't marked in stone, okay? Now, for my folks that like to shoot a thumb release, let me grab a thumb, show you how my anchor line's on that, and then we'll carry on to the next one, okay? I'm gonna try to, if it sounds like I'm rushing through, I'm trying to get you as much info as I can and keep this video as short as I can, okay? So, with my thumb, I bring it in, and I'm sitting right here. You see, my nose button's still in the same place. My peep is still sitting right in front of my eye. It's just, I'm hitting my jaw here, which is almost in the same place with this thumb that I was on that little index style, okay? So, anchor point and draw length, number 1. Okay, number 2. Number 2 is going to be string pressure. This is something not a lot of people think about, but I see it a lot, okay? Just that it's really big deal, okay? I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, and then I might see if I can get this to work on a draw board so you can see kind of the difference that it makes. But what I'm talking about when I'm saying string pressure is I'll see people draw back and then they dig it in hard in their nose like this. That's being kind of overzealous right there. Or they bring it into their cheek real hard like this, deep into their face. Doing something like that right there, just digging it in, or air on the face or something, man, that causes big issues downrange. Because you gotta think, most of these modern bows, most guys are gonna have it set on like a 90% let off, and when it comes to, you know, a little bit of string tension, you can push on the string a little bit right here and really not make that big of a difference. But what you gotta think, this is sitting with a whole lot of tension on. When you draw back and you're holding, you know, 5, 6, 7 pounds, you can just take this string right here and you can push it way over. I got a bunch of crap over there on my bench, so I don't feel like cleaning it off to go through that part. But with you having only 5 or 6 pounds of tension on this, a little bit of face pressure, let's see if we can. So you see how this is lined up with this right here? So even pushing here, you can see it's shoving that peep sight way over. That does the same thing when you drew back and you dig your nose or you dig your cheek into this string right here. It's gonna create a lot of issues. You went from your peep being right in line with your peep, with your sights, to having it shoved over. Now you're looking at them at an angle, and yeah, you're fixing to cause yourself a whole lot of issues. So, number 2, string pressure. Y'all stop doing it. What it should be, the way it should look. What am I doing with my ear? Like I said, the way it should look. Now, this is just how I teach. Okay, is it absolutely a must? Do you? Okay, but this is what I say. Okay, so when you draw back, now I do have the nose button on here because I do like the nose button. Just light tension. You should bring in, like I said, hit your anchor point and then just barely touch your nose. If you just had raw string there, we just want to just barely touch your nose to the string, just enough that your brain registers, hey, I got something touching into my nose. Okay, so when you do that, when you do touch your string to the nose, you hit your proper anchor. What you're looking at when you draw back, you are on, let me do this one more time. When you draw back and hit your anchor, so look how many points of contact I have now. Okay, I've got my anchor point set, my nose touches the string, and I'm directly in front of my peep sight. That is as close to repeating the exact same thing as you can get. Okay, the more points of reference that you can get, the more repeatable you can make it. Now, I do see a lot of people maybe fletch their ears a little further back. When they draw back, the fletching may touch their chin or something. That's fine if you want it just barely touch you, but don't dig your face into your fletching. Okay, that's gonna push your air back and forth on there. So, face pressure on your string and on your air. Okay, no. If y'all are doing it, stop it. Back off a little bit. Okay. Okay, so the last thing I want to mention is front hand grip. Now, this is something that I personally struggled with myself for several years until I found how I wanted to do it. And now that I've found my proper grip, this one single thing has probably impacted myself personally more than any of the other changes that I've made. So there's a couple of different guys and how they grip their bows out there. Okay, there's the death gripper that grips it like this, hand all the way around the riser. You see what I'm doing here? They grip it like that. You have the guy that shoots like this, open-handed. And the problem I've seen with these guys is, even though you say you don't do it, and you might not do it every single shot, but I guarantee you're going to do it. It's just reflexes. You say, I shoot like this so I don't torque the bow. Well, whenever you release it, you're going to flinch your hand like that. If not every time, you're going to do it at least 1 out of 5 times, okay? So, you're going to do this. Well, when you do that, that is going to affect your bow, okay? Now these guys, when you got a death grip on that, just with me holding the bow like this, just with me squeezing it, just changing tension in my grip, you can see how much that changes, right? Okay, so the way I teach, and I'm going to tell y'all like what I tell my 4-H kids. I tell them that you're looking at whatever it is you want to shoot, and you tell it to stop, and then you roll at 45. You see that line I got drew in my hand right there? That's where your bow's going to sit, okay? So, you're like this. You're going to tell whatever's out there you want to shoot to stop. You want that thumb kind of relaxed but pointing forward. And then that rolls your hand kind of at a almost a 45-degree angle. And the way I hold mine is I'll lay that front finger kind of on the front of the, or this index finger kind of on top of the riser, and the rest of these just kind of lay here, okay? They're just barely touching that bow. And what that does, it creates a torqueless grip, okay? That, it doesn't matter if you squeeze, whatever. A lot of people even lay them on the outside like this. I don't like that because that, to me, it feels a little funny. At least if I put my fingers kind of on the front of the grip right there, it feels like I have it. Now, most of these bows nowadays, with the way these limbs are designed, when you release them, all the energy is kind of going up as they spring. Whereas back in the 90s, when the limbs set like this and you shot it, they sprung forward, that bow would want to jump whenever you let it go. These nowadays, you could barely even have your hand on this thing when you released it. It's not going to jump forward at your hand. I do still suggest putting your wrist strap on, just to be on the safe side. But 45, finger on the front of the riser. This in itself, right here, I've personally watched several people out here on my range having trouble grouping, and I tell them to change this one thing. They say, it feels funny. Yeah, it does feel funny. Just humor me and try it. Just give me 12 shots of that. And within 12 shots of gripping it, the way I'm talking about gripping it, their groups decrease dramatically. I'm talking about from like a 20-yard group like this to stacking arrows together. And that's being 100% honest, okay? So, yep. That's my top 3. Like I said, draw length, measure, fingertip, 5 by 2.5. That sets your draw length. If, like I said, if you have to choose in between, you know, halves, go with your shorter, because you can shoot a little shorter. You just got to bend this front arm a little bit. Don't try to suck this shoulder up. Bend the front arm. Bend at your elbow right here. Okay, that'll help. Easier to shoot a little too short than a little too long. Anchor as many points of reference that you can get. Better off you are. String pressure. Stop digging that into your nose or into your face. Okay, that's just creating all kind of issues. All right, and then front hand grip. Stop. 45, grab the bow, okay? Thumb facing toward the target. That's what it should look like right there, okay? I'll throw one more in there kind of as a bonus. This is just kind of a generic, create yourself a shooting process, okay? I could get into a whole shooting process that I just learned in a little coaching school that I went to, but I'm not going to do that. And what I'm saying, create your shooting process. I just want you to do the exact same thing every single time, okay? Now, I know in hunting situations, you ain't going to be able to get your feet placed perfect. You know, you might be hunting in a climbing stand, or lean up, ladder, whatever. So, I'm not even going to start with feet and body posture and all that, okay? I'm talking about get your grip set, hook your release, and then just Mentally make you process. You get this process to a point to where your brain don't even have to think about what you're doing. Okay, so the number one thing that you can do, practice. String time. String time. Put some string time in. I don't care if you're doing everything wrong. If you do everything wrong the exact same way every single time, you can shoot good. Okay, may not shoot great, but you can shoot good. Okay, but create your shooting process. Do the exact same thing every single time. Grip, release, draw, anchor. Take your time. Squeeze through the shot. Don't reach up there and slap it. Don't punch it. Squeeze through your shot. Okay? Process. Create you a shooting process. Do the exact same thing every single time. And I promise you, you will start seeing results. And like I said, we could have gotten to a whole lot of other things. This ain't even talking about making sure you got your equipment properly tuned. This is going into, I know my equipment's right. I know I'm doing something as an operator wrong. That's what this is talking about fixing. If your bow is out of tune, out of timing, whatever, it don't matter what you do on your shooting process. Your shooting probably gonna suck. So anyhow, that being said, I hope that helps y'all. Like I said, that is one of the three biggest things that I've seen as far as customers coming in, my 4-H kids that I coach and stuff like that. That's the biggest thing that I've seen that has been issues, that we make these little bitty corrections and it makes great big results downrange. So hope that helped. If you hadn't already done it, give me a thumbs up, sub to my channel. Follow me on all my social media platforms. My website is Swamp Donkey Archery. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Anyhow, hunting season's right around the corner. Y'all better get ready because it's coming. Good luck to everybody. Hope y'all have a good one. I'll catch y'all on the next one.